everybody, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And we're going to talk about non-spoilers for Incredibles 2. It's been 14 years since the first one. This is again directed by Brad Bird. We are following the Parr family as they continue their adventure. Most of the voice actors that we know are back. I think everyone actually except for...
Dash, right?
It's a book because he's the same age, so...
And probably now the first actor is probably...
14 years older than what he was,
and has a completely different voice.
Exactly. Dustin, we've waited a very long time for this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think this movie was worth the wait, first of all?
Yes. I wish we didn't have to have waited this long. I wish we would have gotten this like 7 years ago. And then we still had to wait 7 years for a sequel to this movie, but... I definitely think it was well worth the wait. Of course, you even have, with something like The Incredibles, you have such high expectations because the first one was so good.
Yes.
And I have to admit, that's one of the big problems that this movie did face, was us loving all of the trailers, loving all the material that we were seeing, having such high expectations. Would it hold up?
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did, and I think honestly, the 14 years and us being involuntarily patient because we were forced to wait, I honestly think it was a good choice on Disney Animation's part because this story, because they're continuing from exactly where we left off, and that's about as much spoilers I'm going to give you guys, is the story continues from exactly where the first one leaves off, is that because it has to continue... you have to think about how the story's got to come together and how and where they're going to end up. They can't just be like, oh, everybody wants it, so we're just gonna mush it together
and throw it out there.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want that. Incredible is such a beloved film. It's so incredibly, no pun intended. Good.
We'll probably have a lot of those puns.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about the synopsis in this movie. Like we already said, it is a continuation from where the first Incredibles have left off, and I actually think it's a good idea to watch the first one before, if you have the time, to
watch the first one
before you head into the second one. However, they do a pretty good job of catching you up. Now, this story, I would say, the first one focused, even though it's an overall family film, and they focused on the Parr family. The first one was more Mr. Incredible's movie.
Yeah.
I would say this one, I don't want to say they completely turned the table, but Elastigirl carries this movie, and she carries it well. While still the focus, I would say it's pretty evenly divided. I would say it's like 60% Elastigirl, 40% Mr. Incredible / his
family
kids.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about this movie is that they really kept the heart and soul of the first one. You can make a lot of comparisons to the first movie, and if you wanted to be nitpicky, you can almost say that they kind of take a similar approach.
Yeah.
They keep the same heart and soul of it, but they really do kind of, okay, switch to camera 2. And you get a different angle on this. And I think they did a brilliant job on kind of keeping the same feeling and kind of the same kind of story plot, but doing a really good job on switching the angles. Yeah,
I totally agree. And that was actually one of my favorite parts because you have one part of the movie, certain characters are living out their superhero lives. And on the flip side is being a superhero, but you're also... a daughter, a son, a baby, and a dad, and how do you balance all of that together? And there is humor. I think the pacing of this movie, it's just streamlined, and it works really, really well. I feel like we talked about this in the car. Certain parts may be a little bit boring, a little bit dragging on for the kids, but as an adult, we totally appreciate it, and I feel like it was totally necessary for the benefit of storytelling. Now let's talk about the characters. So we have our beloved characters.
Oh, yeah.
The core... 5, yes, there's 5 of them. If you watch the previews, you know Jack's power kind of is...
Well, even if you saw the last movie.
Yeah, that's true. We get a little bit more insight into what his power is. And I feel like for the most part, whenever he is on screen, he kind of steals the show.
Oh, you know what? You're kind of right.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, anytime Jack's on screen, you're like, oh, what is he going to do? He's kind of the comic relief in this.
But he's so cute.
But if you've seen any of the merchandise, you've seen, and it's probably some of the promotional stuff, you see Jack and this raccoon. and how you kind of look at them and you're like, you know, there's something going on. This might be a little bit of a spoiler, but the scene between Jack and the raccoon is adorably, hilariously cute.
2 thumbs way up for that scene. And speaking of scenes, a lot of my favorites, I mean, I liked a lot of the scenes, for the most part, are the action scenes.
Yeah.
Like, normally when we watch a superhero movie, you know, it's the long fight sequences, and obviously animation, and they have different powers, and, you know, Elastigirl is, well, Elastigirl, so there's a lot you can do with her, but they kept it real, like, with the fights, you know, there's punching, and our heroes do take hits, they just don't come out of, even though it's a kid's movie, they don't come out of each fight unscathed, so I really, really like that a lot.
The style of fighting, too. How would you fight a super?
Yeah.
And there's one, with Elastigirl that I thought was amazing.
They're just really creative with all of their powers and all of their movements, and teamwork plays a big part in this movie, too, which is fantastic to see. We are introduced to 2 new characters.
Well, a couple, too, because of other teammates.
Well, yeah, we have other... We'll keep that under wraps so you can go see the movie for yourself. Yeah. But there's a couple of new characters, and I really thought they rounded out the story really, really well. I don't feel like anybody was wasted. Everybody had a purpose, and they had a small part, whether, you know, it's in an action sequence, like the teamwork scenes that I was talking about, or to drive the story forward.
Yeah, and I really liked it, too, because with these 2 characters, they had 2 different points of view about the same event. Yeah. And I think that is really cool to kind of put that into a movie, especially in today's society. Yeah. You know, having different points of view on the exact same thing. So I thought they handled that very well.
I wanted to pick one little thing to nitpick at, because I thought of this when I first saw the movie. This is my second viewing, Dustin's first. And I thought the villain of the story, let me see if I can make sense of this. The villain of the story is slight bit predictable in their identity, but not in what they were going to do. Yeah. If that makes sense. So just keep that in mind. But again,
you kind of saw it coming, but yet you were still surprised.
But they keep you guessing, so it's really, really great. And you guys, all in all, like, this movie is so much fun. If you're going in and you love specific characters like Violet, Dash, Jack, Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, or my favorite, Edna Mode, darling.
Edna!
You are not going to be disappointed. This movie is, like, honestly a 10 out of 10 for me, and my rating for it is... What's our
Catch It Opening Night.
Thank you. I was like, check it out opening night, catch it opening night.
Because that's mine as well. Catch It Opening Night. If you can probably see a screening where they may be fewer kids, that'll probably be better. Because we did have some moments in our theater where kids were...
screaming. Oh my God.
Running to the bathroom or something. But I still love the movie. That's not the fault of the movie at all. But definitely Catch It Opening Night. But it's not just what we think. What did you guys think of the movie? Comment below. Tell us what you thought. Please try to keep it spoiler-free. We don't want to ruin any of these good parts for people that haven't seen it yet.
I also wanted to pose a bonus question, is because you guys know almost in every single Pixar film, I said Disney Animation earlier, I meant Pixar, they always show a short. This one is entitled Bow, and it is the most heartwarming story. It will make you cry.
Big time.
And so our bonus question is, do you think Bow could possibly win the Oscar for Best Short Film this year?
I think it could.
Well, you guys, that's it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, and you can continue to support this channel on Patreon. We'll see you in the next video.